Fantastic. I'm now joined by Liam Bloye. Liam, thank you very much for giving up your time today. How you doing? You okay?
You're welcome. Thank you very much for having me. I'm well, thank you. Although the weather isn't too bright today. How are you?
Great stuff. Yeah, all really good. Thanks. Really good. Obviously, glad not to be doing football on the pitch at the moment, but obviously it's really nice to be able to do loads and loads of virtual stuff. So hopefully engage the players that way.
Fantastic. Well, I can see a Cambridge United Abbey Stadium virtual background behind you with fans, which seems quite a long time ago now.
Exactly. Yeah. In fact, this isn't actually a virtual background. I'm actually sitting in the goal mouth at the Newmarket Road.
Picking the ball out the back of the net like usual, I see.
Yeah, I spend more time facing backwards and forwards these days when I'm in goal, I think. But great. Fantastic. So just to start off with then, Liam, if you could just give us a quick outline of your role at the club, that'd be brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. My actual job title is Head of Foundation Phase for under 9s to under 11s. This season, there was a lot of structural changes within the academy. What that then allowed me to do was to also assume responsibility for the pre-academy as well. So I now oversee the under 7s, the under 8s, all the way through to the under 11s. Quite a broad role. It gives me lots of opportunities to experience different facilities across our programme, because we have pre-academy at Baldock, we have one at Hitchinbrook, and we have one at Newmarket as well. So it gives me a lot of variety across my week, an opportunity to coach lots of different players as well across different age groups. So it's lots of fun.
Fantastic. No, brilliant. Like obviously the good thing about working at obviously the clubs like Cambridge in League 2, League 1 is there's loads of different roles sort of within an individual role. So like you say, nice variety. So if you give us a quick outline of your football journey then really. So how did it all start with you, and how did you get to where you are now?
I was actually born in Cornwall. I wasn't born in Cambridge, so I'm not a local lad. I actually started coaching voluntary at the age of 16 or 17 for a local grassroots club in Cornwall before I decided to move to London at the age of 17. So I've had, I suppose, a lot of my exposure when I was younger was trying to put myself out there and be available to as many local grassroots clubs as I possibly could. That gave me an opportunity to learn from more experienced coaches, to assist sessions, and I suppose giving me that first taste of interaction with young children. Quite a few years later, took the opportunity to travel to Australia and spent a year teaching PE in schools and coaching after school clubs, breakfast clubs, soccer schools and various holiday camps. So that gave me the opportunity to immerse myself in slightly different culture on the other side of the world. But that was a brilliant experience for myself. On the conclusion of my time there, I either had to make the decision to go back to England or I had the opportunity to travel to America, which I decided to do, wanted to put myself out of my comfort zone, and I actually spent more time there than I originally had planned for. I spent a year working in North America for a large coaching company called Challenger Sports. So that all those children that are watching, I know this Zoom call might hopefully provide them with some different opportunities when they get older. Challenger Sports is one of the biggest coaching company in America. You can type them on Google and they'll be pretty much the #1 website at the top of the page. But my role there was slightly different to Australia because I was a club mentor. My actual title was Director of Coaching, although I didn't consider myself a Director of Coaching, particularly at the young age of 21 when I was there. But it's slightly different there because they have recreational soccer and they have travel soccer. Now, travel soccer is what we would be more accustomed to in our country, being grassroots football, where you compete in local leagues. But essentially, my role there was to assist 17 different teams, which was quite chaotic and crazy, particularly on match days. But I was basically assisting, supporting and mentoring the coaches that were coaching those teams. So that was a really good experience for me and learning curve, having to try and support not more experienced coaches, but more experienced human beings because they were a lot older than myself. So that was really good, really enjoyed that. And then I decided to come back to England, the age of 22, I think I was. And when I come back, what I realised was that I wanted to continue to work in some type of capacity that involved teaching, educating young children within sport. And so I've done a lot of research, and I finally made a decision that I wanted to go into football coaching. and I started coaching in primary schools in the London and Barking areas around London. So that gave me, again, more opportunities to deliver PE lessons across different key stages, key stage 1, key stage 2, year 1 all the way through to year 6, and actually became a PE coordinator within a school. I think it was the second biggest school, primary school in London, with lots of diversity, children from different cultures, different backgrounds. But whilst also teaching within primary schools and delivering soccer camps during the school holidays, I also worked for Leyton Orient as a academy coach, and spent 5 seasons there, and then moved rest to Barnet Football Club, which unfortunately they closed their academy at the end of this season, and now I've been at Cambridge, I think now for approximately 16 months, of which I probably have only worked 6 months of those due to the pandemic.
Fascinating. I think what's really interesting there, obviously you touched on it briefly in what you were saying, but the amount of different opportunities there are for obviously young coaches and people maybe coming out of playing the game at a young age and thinking, well, how can I stay involved in football? And then obviously being able to go and coach in different countries and obviously then come back to this country and build experiences. I think that's fascinating. So really inspiring for young players. Did you play at all, obviously, when you were younger, or perhaps just go into coaching?
Definitely not too many big moments playing football when I was younger. I'd probably say my most memorable moment being a youngster growing up was probably playing football every Saturday morning. I really enjoyed playing with my friends, and those are probably the best days of your life, knowing on a Saturday morning when you wake up at 9 a.m, you've got football down the road against one of your local rivals. I absolutely loved that when I was younger, and that's probably where I fell in love with football. Best moment coaching within an academy environment, because previous to that, my experiences were obviously working within grassroots football or abroad, and they were absolutely fantastic. If I could do that again, I would. But I'd probably say, since I've been working academy football, which hopefully some of the boys within your program, within the RDC, because I know you do this as part of your program, but it's going on tours and playing against some really good opposition, such as Juventus, Ajax, Bayern Munich, Borussia Dortmund, AC Milan. And that's really good for me as a coach, because I get to see different philosophies and within those environments and within those clubs. And so it's really useful for me as a coach, but I also get to watch some really gifted and talented young children. Without doubt, some of those boys will go on and have a career in the professional game. It's something that's really exciting to watch when you do go on those tours. They're very eye-opening.
Fantastic. I think that's brilliant. I think, again, for any player and any coach, I have to agree. I think that tours and that are absolutely fantastic. And like you say, obviously, weekend football, hopefully we can get back to that quite soon as well.
Yeah, no, for sure. Hopefully.
Yeah.
But they're not as good as the Tuesday nights under the floodlights at the Abbey Stadium. I wouldn't replace them for that.
Of course, absolutely. And as you know, I certainly wouldn't either. So just on to the next question then. So obviously you touched on it about tours and that, but what would you say the best bit about your current role is? What do you enjoy the most?
There's lots of things that I really enjoy. When I wake up, I don't feel like I'm going to work. At the moment, work is just downstairs. I don't really have to walk too far. But being a coach in the foundation phase really does offer a unique opportunity. There's no better time to influence a child's attitude towards sport and learning, particularly during those early years. I think that first experience of being coached, playing games, being involved in football should be a positive, enjoyable and memorable one for any child of any age. And I think that develops a real lifelong love of physical sport and activity. It also presents an opportunity for children to develop skills and abilities, a whole range of areas, both on and off the pitch. So I think being able to be a part of that is something that I really enjoy. And in whatever way I can help, support, I try to the best of my ability. But I think another thing that's really enjoyable about my role is that every day looks different. I could be at the training ground on a Monday, I could be at the stadium on a Tuesday, could be delivering a Zoom session on a Wednesday. And then particularly on the weekends, we obviously travel to different facilities, playing against different oppositions. For example, we might get to play boots and laces against Southend, but then we might get to go to Disneyland where we get to play against teams such as Tottenham Hotspur and Manchester City. So every day is different, every day is unique. I enjoy the interactions with different coaches, parents, players, and every day offers a new challenge. So it's something that I really enjoy in the role. And if that's any bit of advice that I could give to someone that's young, growing up, is to try and find something that you really can become passionate about.
Oh, brilliant! I think I can certainly agree. Especially some of the away trips this season, Leicester, Tottenham had a few really good days out. Yeah. It's a great environment to be involved in, and as a player as well. So I think for me that's the not that it replaces actually playing for a team, but I always think coaching it gives you that. You can still get.
It's not all great though, because there are times where, for example, the most recent game we played against Tottenham, where it poured down with rain from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. and you spend the entire day getting absolutely drenched, freezing cold. You run out of hand warmers. There's no more coffee on offer, and you've really got to try and weather the storm. But I suppose we like to paint a perfect world in football, but there are certainly times where you do have to dig in and there's some real grafting. But that comes with any task job or school commitment.
I was loving the rain. I didn't have to have a shower when I went home. It was brilliant.
I will need to design some more appropriate winter clothing to keep you warm.
Yeah, yeah, certainly. I think I was getting wet. I think after the second warm up, so I think it was. I think we need to look into that. So just on to the next thing then. So what do you look for, you personally, in a young player? When let's say maybe you're out scouting a game or you're out watching a training session, and what stands out for you? What do you look for in a young player?
I think we all have our biases, and I think it's important to understand what they are. Although I try to, if someone asks me this question, I think it's really easy sometimes to focus on the technical, tactical aspect of football. I think from my perspective, when I'm working with children at the age of 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, to have a conversation with that individual regarding them being a professional footballer, that's something that we absolutely cannot guarantee or promise. And I think that would be a really foolish thing for us to do. So we've got to make sure our environment is really positive, engaging, provides a platform for children to learn. But I think the biggest thing that I look for in young footballers, children, is an enthusiasm and commitment. Do they have a real sense of enjoyment when they're in our environment? Are they willing to listen, learn, and then do they want to be curious about learning and how they can improve on the pitch? And do they have bundles of energy? Are they willing to run around at 100 miles an hour in training sessions and in games? I think technical players will always improve. I think players will always improve technically if given an opportunity and access to the right coaching. But certainly a real commitment, that sense of enthusiasm, that child that just continues to run around the Astro, tackle, pass, run with the ball, shoot. Those are players that play with a real intensity, which I know is ingrained into our coaching philosophy within the academy environment. But I don't think that you can ever question someone's enthusiasm. That's certainly something that I look for in young children when they're playing football.
No, really interesting to hear that. I think, that's a massive thing, isn't it? It's how much kids love football, and obviously for us as coaches, how much we love football as well. I think always brings the best of people out, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
So just on to a couple of quick fire questions then. Always like to get these ones out. I think the last time I did this with Mark Bunn, and I think for his answer to one of the questions was a Range Rover Evoque or something. So it looked,
okay.
Yeah, on a different level to my budget, but we'll go. So in terms of favourite things, so favourite team to start with, favourite football team other than Cambridge United, of course.
Can I choose 2 football teams, or is it just one?
We'll let you have 2.
Okay, so my local team where I was born, which was Cornwall, was Plymouth Argyle, which is known to be called the Green Army. We did play in League 2 last year with Cambridge, but we got promoted. But my favourite team, Liverpool Football Club, by a country mile. And we obviously won the league last year for the first time in 30 years. I tell everyone that I've waited 30 years, but I'm only actually 28 years old, so I've only waited 28. But yeah, Liverpool Football Club and Plymouth Argyle are 2 teams that I follow with immense pride and passion.
Gained yourself a lot of friends in our programme with the second answer to that question, I think, so that's good. A lot of Reds. And your favourite football player, current or past? Or Maybe.
Oh, that's a tough question, because my favourite Liverpool player was Philippe Coutinho before he moved to Barcelona a few years ago. I don't know. I just like players that play with a lot of expression, a lot of freedom, are very adventurous and exuberant and very skillful. So I'd probably say Roberto Firmino, although probably doesn't get as many goals as Liverpool fans or other fans of other clubs would like. I think he connects everything. He provides many assists and goals for other players within the team. Very selfless in his actions.
Great answer. Not so good for my fantasy team this year, but I'll let him off. I do agree. Fantastic. Favourite colour? Good guess for that one, I think.
Oh, red. There's no other colour that will replace the colour red.
Good choice again. Favourite food? Favourite thing to eat?
So you've opened my eyes a little bit more in the last couple of years. I have a real balance between trying to eat lots of vegetable dishes whilst also getting a balance of eating your protein, your carbs, etc. But favourite food? Not quite sure. Maybe a spaghetti bolognese. How simple is that?
Great choice. I think one of our other academy staff, Dario, might agree with that as well.
His might be a carbonara.
Or a pizza or anything Italian.
Yeah.
Favourite pet?
Not really a pet lover. Do you have a soft spot for dogs? Yeah. Not too many other pets that I have a real sense of attachment to, but if I had one, it'd probably be a dog. But a small one, not a big one.
Yeah, solid choice. And finally, that question that I did ask our good friend Mark Bunn, favourite car?
Oh, so I'm a Formula One fan. I think it's important to invest your time in other sports, particularly when you're trying to switch off. Formula One helps me do that. But I'd love to drive a Formula One car around, and if it was, it'd be a McLaren. But if I could afford one, I'd probably buy a Ferrari. But I can't afford one. I actually drive a Volkswagen at the moment, so it'd probably be some form of Volkswagen GTR sport version, something that was incredibly fast but safe.
Fantastic, incredibly fast but safe. Bit like me, to be fair, then.
Which could be fast to save in those top corner shots.
Ain't getting near those, yeah. Fantastic. And the last couple of questions then. So how have you been keeping busy during lockdown? I know lots of our players have been doing loads of training at home, but how for a coach have you been able to obviously keep yourself entertained and keep yourself, your mind on the game, so to speak?
Yeah, I think a lot of people crave routine and structure, which I think is what we have in our everyday lives. And I think when you lose that, you can become a little bit lost. So I try to have moments in my day where I've got flexibility, but in other days where I've got structure. But I like to go on walks. It keeps me active, and it's really good for your mood, for your mindset. I do read books, listen to podcasts. There's lots of great podcasts out there at the moment. Probably not appropriate for the viewers because some of them are coaching podcasts, unless obviously a lot of children have a real appetite to go into that when they're older. But there are a lot of great football podcasts out there with some really good stories with professional footballers and coaches that might be useful for some young players to listen to. I like to cook. That's something that I'm extremely passionate about, helps me switch off. I watch a lot of football on the television, and I'd probably say my guilty pleasure, certainly watching a TV series on either Netflix or Amazon Prime, if any children have got those. But I think the most important one is watching Cambridge United games, whether that's at the Abbey Stadium, which obviously as staff members, we're in a fortunate position where we can do that. So if you can't do that, you can go to the club website and sign up for the iFollow and get a match day pass, which is what I do when I can't go to the games, and they are really fun.
Fantastic. And Liam Bloye's on a commission there, Amazon Prime, iFollow, everything getting the shout out. Fantastic.
Thank me for that one.
Yeah. And there was a bit of a rumour going around that you and another member of Academy staff had a little bit of a FIFA tournament or a one-off game. And there was a bit of an upset.
We did. I don't really play FIFA, although I will open up and say that I have now purchased the game. Although I don't play it very much for obvious reasons. Getting out of the house is important, staying active. It's great for the body, great for the mind. But yeah, we did play a game. We had a lot of viewers, 128, I believe. I was the underdog. I was winning 2-1 with Cambridge United. I can't remember the team I was playing against, but I conceded within the last 30 seconds. We did a little competition, and there was one player in our under 8s that was due to win with about 30 seconds to go. And I think I ruined his whole week because I conceded in the last minute. But I did win on penalties. So I was resilient, showed great character to come back after a real disappointing outcome towards the end of the game. But yeah, great fun. Maybe we'll do that again in the future. If there's any more ideas that any other players, can give us, we'd love to hear from them.
100%. And of course, it was a win in anyone else's eyes except for the Peterborough manager, who of course doesn't think winning on penalties is a
Important.
thing. I couldn't resist getting that one in there. Fantastic. Up then, the best one piece of advice to young development players at Cambridge United. Anything just from you that you give?
Yeah, I think to get good at something, it's really important that we get enthusiastic about being bad at it. And I think what I mean by that is that should teach us that we should enjoy the journey and try not to focus on the outcome so much. We all have a target, and we obviously must make sure that we work as hard as we possibly can in order to reach those goals. But I think it's important that you enjoy the journey, you enjoy the experience. I think through making mistakes, we will get things wrong, but we will learn from them, and this will make us better and more motivated to improve. I think the biggest bit of advice that I could give, because I know there's something that I used to do when I was younger a lot, and I know I referred to it a little bit earlier on about I watched lots of football. It might not just be watching football, it might be watching other sports and having an interest in that. But I think change doesn't come from within you. I think you're always reacting from something from the outside, and whether that be a role model, because when you look at a role model, you look at a team, or you look at a sport, you're always reacting to something that's happened, and that might ignite a particular taste or appetite within you that you go, right, that's what I want to be. And I think that can really give you lots of focus, that can give you lots of energy. So that's probably the biggest bit of advice that I could give any young player.
Absolutely fantastic, and I think that's been absolutely fascinating. Hopefully that's obviously inspired all of you guys to think about other things in football as well. Obviously there's so many different things that go on behind the scenes, and yeah, just hear about Liam's journey there is absolutely brilliant. So I won't take up any more of his time. Thank you very much, Liam, for joining us. Obviously Liam Bloye, one of our phase league coaches in the academy at Cambridge United. Have a good rest of your week. I hope to see you. I think we've got a coach's coffee morning tomorrow morning, so I look forward to catching up there.
See you then. Thank you very much for having me, and yeah, look forward to hopefully crossing paths with some of the boys and girls in your programme.
Thank you very much. Brilliant. Cheers, everyone. Take care. We'll speak to you soon.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.